Hello and welcome to Education at SSBJ online video tutorials. In this video tutorial, we'll pick up few multiple choice questions of the chapter Reproduction in Animals of class 8th. The first question is, the number of eggs produced in internal fertilization is, right? We have studied internal fertilization and external fertilization, isn't it? So please recall internal fertilization and then external fertilization. Now internal fertilization, an example is humans, right? So baby grow in mother's body, that's the internal fertilization. Fusion of sperm, that's a male gamete, and egg, which is a female gamete, takes place inside the human body, that's the mother's body, and that's a internal fertilization, right? Now external fertilization is generally in case of fish as well as amphibians, frogs, toads and all. So frogs are the best example for external fertilization. So these multiple choice question will make us to revise the portion which we have completed. That's why I picked up these MCQs of this chapter. You will have some 15 MCQs in this chapter, and then we'll continue with the question answer sessions in the next video. Okay, the number of eggs produced in the internal fertilization is, you see the option, more than external fertilization, right? Less than external fertilization, and more or less than external fertilization depending on the environment, equal to external fertilization. Okay, so which one is wrong and which one is right, we should know about the external fertilization now, right? In the internal fertilization we get one egg in the mother's ovary, right? But in the external fertilization we have studied, such as in frogs, they lay in water thousands of eggs, right? And therefore our question is, the number of eggs produced in the internal fertilization should be less than external fertilization, because in the external fertilization number of eggs will be in thousands. You can see this, and this is what we have studied. So the answer for this question is less than external fertilization. I hope you have understood. We'll go for the next question here. Reproduction is essential for living organism in order to. Reproduction is essential. Why? What is the importance of reproduction? Okay, let us go through the options here first. To continue their species, main growth, fulfill their energy requirement, keep the individual organism alive. Okay, so what happens in the reproduction in animals? There is a continuity of the species. So each of the species will produce their young ones, and so their species will continue. And therefore, what should be the answer? The answer should be to continue their species. Please remember these options. Next question. How many parents are involved in sexual reproductions? Okay, is it 0 or 4 or 2 or 1? We have studied In the types of reproduction in this chapter, there are two types. One is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. And in the asexual reproduction, we require single parent, right? Whereas here in the sexual reproduction, we require father as well as mother, right? So mother will have an egg as well as father will donate a sperm, and then the fusion of this sperm and the egg will give rise to zygote and further towards baby, right? So how many parents require here? We require both, two, right? So what's the question, right? The question is, how many parents are involved in sexual reproduction? The answer should be 2. So 2 is the correct answer. Next question. After fertilization, the dash divides repeatedly to give rise to ball of cells. So we'll go back to the same slide now. You see, after fertilization. After fertilization means once the sperm and egg is combined. So then we say that fertilization has taken place, right? After the fertilization, what is formed is called zygote. And this zygote is a single cell, remember this. And this single cell then starts multiplying into multiple cells, and that is called embryo. Okay, now what is the question? After fertilization, the dash divides repeatedly to give rise to ball of cells. Who will get divided into give ball of cell? It is stage 2 here. That is zygote. You can see here what we have studied. Sperm and egg combines and give rise to zygote, and this will then, you can see number of cells are more here. It's a single cell, so it's a zygote. The answer is zygote. Okay, this is the answer. Please remember this. Next, budding. Budding is seen. Now, let us recall what is budding. In fertilization, we have sexual and asexual fertilization, right? In that we have taken humans as an example, whereas here we have many, right? One of the asexual reproduction is budding. Please recall the previous tutorial. There are many other ways of asexual reproduction, such as binary fission, parthenogenesis, and so on. So budding is one of them. And what is budding? Example we had considered is of Hydra. So parent Hydra will be of this type, and then slowly somewhere here buds starts forming. Okay, so this will give to slowly developing stage, and this bud will completely develop and get detached, and exactly a copy of the Hydra will form. This is what is called budding, right? So what is the answer for our question? Budding is seen in, is it in humans or amoeba or Hydra or bacteria? So our answer is Hydra, right? Question number 6. Which of the following is not a part of the male reproductive system? Which of the following is not a part of a male reproductive system? So what is male reproductive system? Please try to recall the diagram. So what are the options given? Vas deferens, okay, or we can call it as a sperm duct, ovary, testes, and penis. We'll recall that picture. This is a male reproductive system, whereas we can have even a female reproductive system. The same picture we have used for our previous video tutorials. So these are the testes. So let us go back to the question. What is which of the following is not a part of a male reproductive system? So it's very simple. You can make out here that it's an ovary. Ovary will be only for, female reproductive system where the eggs are formed. Okay, they are in pairs, right? So answer should be ovary. This should be the answer. Next, question number 7. A paramecium produces by dividing itself into two, this is to be underlined, into two daughter cells. Try to remember. And this process is called, is it budding or regeneration or binary fission or vegetative propagations? Right? These are all methods of asexual reproduction. Okay, please recall we have two types of reproduction: sexual reproduction, in case of humans it happens, and asexual reproduction. These are the different ways. We have already seen budding is one in Hydra, right? Now some bacteria, okay, they get divided into two. We say that dividing itself into two daughter cells. But here, what is it called? Understood? So Paramecium is one such, right? Its genetic material first gets divided and then it spreads into two, and then two copies of Paramecium formed. Okay, so here parent is only one, single parent. There is no male and female, but then we have two offsprings. Okay, either you can call two daughters or two sons, right? So both are Paramecium. So this is what is called as binary fission. It happens even in bacteria, which you have already studied. So please remember this. Number 8. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is, answer is binary fission. Just now we had concluded. So number 8 is, the female gamete produced by the ovary is called dash. Very simple. Okay, it is haploid in nature. The female gamete produced by the ovary. Right. So in our previous video tutorial, we'll bring back the same slide here. The female gamete produced in the ovary is called egg, isn't it? And male gamete which is produced in the testis is called sperm. So our answer should be, egg. And this egg is also called ovum. Okay, so please remember that sometimes in the option you will not get egg. So there is no egg, but ovum is there. So this is the answer. Question number 9. Which of the following is the site of fertilization in humans? Which of the following is the site of fertilization in humans? Okay, is it uterus, fallopian tube, ovary and vagina? Okay, so let us recall a structure of female reproductive system. So what happens during the fertilization here? So the sperm will enter through vagina here, okay, and then it goes through cervix, and then it will travel this way. The sperm, please remember, sperm will travel this way. By then, before only the egg is produced here in the ovary. So this is either ovum or egg. It's a female gamete. This cell, this single cell that is called egg, will start moving into the fallopian tube. So somewhere here, when the egg reaches, then the sperm will combine with the egg and the fertilization starts. So which is the site for fertilization in the humans? Is it uterus? No. Fallopian tube. Somewhere here in this fallopian tube, or here the fertilization starts or begins. So answer should be fallopian tube. Next, which of the following is not a oviparous animal? And what are oviparous? I said O looks like egg, isn't it? So remember, just for memory trick it is. Those animals which lay eggs are called oviparous. Okay, like fish, toads and frogs. And animals which give birth to young ones are called viviparous. Okay, so in our question we had, which of the following is not a oviparous animal? Is it a, let's see, cow. Cow doesn't lay any egg, so this has to be the answer, whereas all these will give rise to egg. So the answer is cow. Question 11. Name the process in which tadpoles develop into young frogs. Okay. Now, this is the portion which I just wanted to elaborate here. Name the process in which tadpoles develop into young frogs. Now you will understand the question now. The answer, let me tell you that it's a metamorphosis. And what is metamorphosis? The metamorphosis is a process of changing in its physical form from its birth to adult. Okay, its a physic will totally change, and that process is called metamorphosis. So metamorphosis is a process some animal go through and become adults, and it's a physical change, and it is common in insects such as butterfly, and also in the animals who live both water in and as well as land. And what are those? Land. They are called amphibians such as frogs and toads, etc. Okay, so they undergo metamorphosis. Now we'll go a little detail into it, and why they happens. They happen because their genetic structure is like that, and they happen again because of the hormones. And what are hormones? Hormones are the chemicals produced in the body, and they are controlled by a brain, main pituitary glands, and they are targeted towards the part of the body to act accordingly. Okay, about this we shall study in the next chapter, that is changes during adolescence. Okay, so these are the chemical substances produced in our body. So let us take an example of a butterfly egg, right? So this is the egg of a butterfly, and then suddenly you don't get a butterfly out of this egg. First it will give out a structure called larva. Okay, you must have seen this, and that larva will stick to a wall, and then for a long time it will convert into this form which is called pupa, and then out of that that shell will come out, and then from there butterfly will come. So see the physical structure here. This is totally, we cannot imagine that this larva will get into such a beautiful colorful butterfly, right? So these are the stages of birth of a butterfly, and this is what is called metamorphosis. It happens even in frogs, right? Generally what happens, frogs lay egg in water, the eggs are of this shape, and then this is what is called tadpole. Now our question is, name the process in which tadpole develops into young frog, and that tadpole will slowly develop the legs here, and then it gets into a young frog, and the cycle repeats. Okay, so what is the answer? Metamorphosis. Right? So I said that we will have some 15 questions, and we'll continue with few more questions in this tutorial, but now already it's a 20 minutes of time, and let me stop here and pick up few more questions in the next video tutorial. Hope that this MCQ session is helpful for you and will be helpful for your examinations. So please keep revising. Thank you very much.